ఓం శ్రీ గురుభ్యో నమః. అందరికీ నమస్కారం. In this video, let us examine what is eternal pilgrimage on the spiritual path. One disciple has asked his master like this: Master, I only see the beginning of the journey on the spiritual path, but not the end. Can you please comment on my feeling? Then the master said like this: My dear, there is no end to this pilgrimage. There is only the beginning. What have you asked is a profound question. In this context, Gautama Buddha is reported to have said like this: The world never begins, but it ends. Enlightenment begins, but it never ends. Ignorance has no beginning, but it has an end. Awareness has only a beginning, but no end. So, it is absolutely correct that you cannot see any end and you can see only the beginning. It is not my fault nor your, but it is how things are. See, my dear, in ordinary life, everything is limited. It has a boundary to it. But in spiritual realm, no experience has any boundary. It is oceanic. It simply goes on, and you never come to a point where you can say, now I have arrived. You are always arriving and always arriving, but you never arrive, because that will be nothing but a death. If the dimension of spiritual growth comes to an end, that will be a death and nothing else, because there will be no more possibilities opening, no more doors opening, no more flowers blossoming. All has happened. At that point, everything is past and there is no future. That is what the meaning of the end is. When everything is past and there is no future, that is the end. So, the very pilgrimage with a master begins by dropping the past. My dear, remember, the more you are unburdened of the past, the bigger your future becomes. When there is no past left, no psychological hang-up, there is an infinity confronting you, growth unbounded. The more you enter into it, the lovelier it becomes. The more you have travelled the path, but the goal does not come closer, but you become more peaceful, more silent, more rejoicing. Your life goes on every moment changing into a more blissful existence. It becomes a benediction not only to you but to the whole existence. But there is no end to it. The pilgrimage is endless. It is only for those who are not goal seekers. Remember, Gautama Buddha was born as a prince and was the only son of his father. Just before he was going to be enthroned, he escaped. He was only 29 years and had a beautiful wife and son, and father wanted him to take charge of the kingdom. In fact, that was one of the reasons why he escaped from the kingdom, because he had seen his father's empty life. The riches, there are riches all around and poverty inside. He had everything, his father had everything as a king, but he had no peace, no love, no compassion. He had never understood what a beauty is, what a poetry is, what a music is, and there was no time for such things. Gautama had seen the emptiness of a great emperor and was intelligent enough not to repeat the same circle again, and he escaped from the kingdom. Gautama escaped into the neighborhood kingdom, and his father has informed the neighborhood friend and king to trace his son. But the neighborhood king was overjoyed. He was overjoyed as he was hoping to persuade Gautama to marry his only daughter. He has no sons. So the neighborhood king found Gautama in the forest in a cave. He knew Gautama, and Gautama also knows him. So the neighborhood king said, "What kind of madness is this, Gautama? My palace is here. You are as much a son to me as to your father, and your father and myself, we are great friends. Just come with me." Then Gautama said like this, "I have not left one kingdom to get another kingdom. I have not left the palace to get a bigger palace, because I know if in that small kingdom and small palace there was so much emptiness, in your bigger kingdom and bigger palace there must be much bigger emptiness. I can see it in your eyes. Watching my own father's eyes, I have become almost an expert. I can see a person's eyes and can say whether he has anything inside or is just a poor man. He may be an emperor to me, but to me you are just a beggar, just like my father. You are certainly, both are good friends. Do not disturb me. I am in search of something which cannot be taken away from me, which even death cannot destroy. I am in search of something which can bring a kingdom into my heart." Buddha continued, "I am not a seeker of anything that is outside of me. Peace has to be within me. Silence has to be within me. Love has to be within me. Compassion has to be within me. A sense of beauty has to be within me. Everything that is valuable is inner. I am in search of myself. Just be kind enough and don't disturb me. Otherwise, I will have to move to another kingdom." Then the master further said, "In the world there are goals. In the spiritual realm there are no goals. It is a pure journey leading nowhere. Note down the word nowhere. It is a very beautiful word. In this regard, I would like to share a beautiful story. There was an atheist. See, as you know, atheists go on talking about God more than theists. He was such a fanatic atheist that even in his office he has written in capital letters on the wall, God is nowhere. So normally that became the subject first to discuss first, and the man would forget as to what he had come for, I mean the other person. So one day the atheist with his small child who was learning to read small words, God was possible for him to read as it was not the big word. But nowhere is so big. So the small boy read like this: God is now here. He broke the word nowhere into now here. He could manage it in two parts. But his father, who had written it, I mean that word nowhere, who had seen it for years, had never been aware that nowhere can also be now here. A sudden shocking awakening, and he started thinking about it. Perhaps the child is right. All my arguments are only arguments. I have no solid proof of God's non existence. I have not explored the whole existence so that I can say He is nowhere. That statement can be made only by a person who has been everywhere and has found that God is not anywhere. So, thinking about it, the father thought what to say about the whole universe. I have not been into myself and I am talking about everywhere. Perhaps I shall start my journey again from now and from here. The master continued further. So, the pilgrimage you are starting with the master begins now, begins here and it ends never, ends nowhere, because it is always now and it is always here. In existence, only now exists and only here exists. See, my dear, in language there is there and then. Both words are there and then. But not in existence. In existence, everything is here and everything is now. And now and here are not separate. They are two aspects of one reality. This is one of the most important discoveries of modern physics, that space and time are not two things. Space means here, time means now. As you all know, Albert Einstein, who worked for his whole life on the problem of time and space, finally dropped the two words time and space. He created a new word, space-time, because all his research led him to one conclusion, that time and space are not two things, they are one. You cannot divide now from here, and the journey will move from one now to another now, from one here to another here, but it is not going to come to an end. It is an eternal pilgrimage, and one should rejoice that life is eternal and that we are part of eternity, that there is no death, that there is no end, that there is no full point. So, my dear, life is an eternal pilgrimage, the Master concluded. So, thank you all.